Hey, parents of teen drivers. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty morbid subject, and it is vehicular homicide. This is something that no parent ever wants to have to hear or deal with, but the fact of the matter, it's real and it exists, and teens are a part of that group that has this issue. So as a teenager, if you get out on the roads and you cause an accident and another person dies in that accident, then potentially you could be have criminal charges pressed against you for vehicular homicide. And so basically, homicide is a criminal statute here in Louisiana, and it deals with first-degree murder, second-degree murder. You have manslaughter and negligent homicide, and then we have a subcategory for vehicular homicide. And so, it's the body of law on it is not extremely large, but it does have there is quite a bunch of information having to do with it, and I wanted to show you all on the screen of how much just this one particular statute on vehicular homicide covers, much less all the case law and everything that goes along with it. Basically, if you or your teen or anyone is operating a motor vehicle, an aircraft, a watercraft, or any other type of apparatus that can move people around, and they are under the influence of either alcohol or drugs or some sort of combination of that, whether it's illegal drugs or it's legal drugs, they are then and they get into an accident and a person dies from that accident, whether or not they strike a pedestrian or they hit somebody else in another vehicle or whatever. If it's related to that accident, then they can be on the hook for vehicular homicide. And at some point, I do plan to get a criminal attorney to come in here and talk to them about the issues that they see with teen drivers, but this is a huge one. And so the minimum fine on something like this is anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000 of just straight up cash that needs to be paid for this type of charge, and then imprisonment, like either hard labor or regular prison, from anywhere from 5 to 30 years. So if your teen goes to a party and they drink some alcohol and their blood alcohol level gets to a certain extent or whatever, and they get into an accident and somebody else dies, then they could potentially go to jail for 5 to 30 years. So this is extremely serious. It's a really big deal. And today, in our times, with the invention of Uber and Lyft and the various other ways that people can get around, and the education out there about alcohol and drugs and what they do and how they impair somebody behind the wheel, there's no excuse why teens should be getting charges against them for vehicular homicide. It's just one of those things that, I'm a civil attorney. We don't really see that aspect of things. We can still go after people if someone has passed away or, for civil damages, but the state will come after a teen or an individual for the criminal charges related to the vehicular homicide. So it's one of those things where we just need to be smart, we need to educate, and we need to make sure that teens are making the right decisions when it is crunch time, keeping them away from alcohol and drugs and keeping them away from people who are doing those things while they're driving a vehicle. So not a great topic, but it is something that we need to be educated on. And so if anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to DM me or leave a comment below. And again, Seth Smiley from the Smiley Law Firm, and this is another edition of Parents of Teen Drivers Facebook group. Thank you.